The access hatch screamed as I pried it open, metal grinding against metal, and black hydraulic fluid sprayed across my face. I didn't have time to wipe it away. The engine core was dying, temperature gauges spinning into red, and if I didn't bypass the coolant manifold in the next 40 seconds, 300 souls on this transport would become vapor. My hands moved on instinct, fingers slick with grease, wrenching the emergency valve counterclockwise. The ship lurched. Gravity flickered. Somewhere above me, passengers were screaming, but I couldn't think about them. I could only think about the coupling in my hand and the way the metal was already hot enough to blister skin. Human engineer status report. The voice came through my earpiece, calm and crystalline. Captain Velishara, Threskin. 7 feet of Chitness authority who'd hired me 3 stations ago because human mechanics were cheap and desperate. Working, I grunted, jamming my arm deeper into the access shaft. Something sharp tore through my sleeve. Blood mixed with the grease. Need another 30 seconds. We have 18. The bypass tube clicked into place. I twisted the lock ring, felt it catch, and slammed the panel control. The engine coughed, shuddered, and the whine that had been building in my teeth suddenly dropped to a purr. Gravity stabilized. The red lights blinked to amber, then green. I sagged against the bulkhead, chest heaving, and keyed my comm. Core, stable, we're not dying today. Then, report to the bridge. Immediately. I'd saved the ship. Usually that earned me a nod and another rotation in the engine room. I pulled myself up the ladder, grease dripping from my coveralls, and made my way through the corridors. Passengers stared. A Vorlian family pressed against the wall as I passed, their translator pendants buzzing with whispered prayers. A Kellid merchant clutched his cargo manifest and wouldn't meet my eyes. The bridge doors opened before I could knock. Captain Velshara stood at the viewport, mandibles perfectly still. That was bad. Threskin only went motionless when calculating threat or measuring prey. Behind her, 3 figures I didn't recognize. 2 wore the silver armor of the Galactic Concordat's Royal Guard, weapons maglocked to their hips, faces hidden behind mirrored visors. The third was small, a child maybe, wrapped in robes that shimmered like starlight. Engineer Cade Chen, Velshara said. She didn't turn. You are covered in filth. Yeah, well, I wiped my hands on my thighs. It didn't help. That's what happens when you're elbow deep in a dying engine. You saved this vessel. That's the job. 47 times, one of the guards said. The voice was feminine, filtered through the helmet. 47 critical repairs across 9 different ships in the past standard year. 32 of those repairs completed under combat conditions or imminent system failure. 0 casualties attributed to mechanical error under your supervision. You've been tracking me? The small figure moved. The robes shifted, and I saw her face for the first time. Not human. Not anything I recognized. Her skin held the faint luminescence of deep-sea creatures, pale blue threaded with silver, and her eyes were too large, too dark, pupils that seemed to draw in light and hold it. She couldn't have been more than 10 cycles old, whatever species she was, but she moved with the careful precision of someone much older. She looked at me. Really looked, and then she went completely still. The guards' hands dropped to their weapons. Your Radiance, the female guard said, urgent but controlled. We should return to you. You, the child whispered. Her voice carried harmonics that made my back teeth ache. You are the... The one what? I glanced at Velshara, but the captain had taken 2 steps back, mandibles now spread in what I recognized as Threskin shock. Look, I don't know what this is about, but I've got 3 more systems to check before... The weight behind those words pressed down like atmosphere, like gravity doubling. I raised my hands automatically. Grease under the nails. Calluses across the palms. The new cut on my forearm still bleeding sluggishly. The child moved closer. The guard shifted but didn't stop her. She reached out, and her fingers, too long, too delicate, hovered just above my skin. She didn't touch. She didn't need to. The stains of 1,000 repairs, she said softly. The marks of one who builds when others destroy. Who mends what breaks? Who stands between collapse and salvation and asks for nothing but the chance to try again? Kid, I really don't... She finally met my eyes again, and I saw something in her expression that made my stomach drop. She finally met my eyes again, and I saw something in her expression that made my stomach drop. Recognition, certainty, fear. And you are the savior of worlds the prophecy spoke of 3,000 years ago. The bridge went silent except for the hum of the engines. My engines. The ones I just saved. No, I said. No, you've got the wrong person. I'm a mechanic. I fix things for money. That's it. The savior will be marked by toil, Queen Izalith recited, her voice taking on a rhythmic quality. Covered in the blood of machines bearing scars of service, unknown to glory, they will walk among the fractured stars and hold together what would fly apart. They will ask for no throne, no crown, no song of praise. And in their refusal, they will be known. That's not... I looked at the guards, at Velshara, at anyone who might be reasonable. That could describe half the engineers in the sector. Can half the engineers in the sector do this? The Queen raised one hand, and a holo display flickered to life between us. Ship schematics, dozens of them. I recognized the Martian Queen, the Void Echo, the Sanctuary's Promise, ships I'd worked on. The display shifted, showing temporal markers. Breathe. Every repair I'd made, cross-referenced with catastrophic events that hadn't happened. Reactor breaches that would have killed thousands. Hull failures that would have stranded colonies. Cascade failures that would have sparked wars. You didn't just save ships, the Queen said quietly. You saved futures. Every valve you turned, every wire you spliced, every impossible repair you completed when anyone else would have evacuated and let the vessel die, each one was a branching point. Each one prevented a cascade you couldn't see. My mouth had gone dry. You're saying I accidentally prevented wars? Not accidentally. She lowered her hand and the display vanished. The prophecy is clear. The Savior doesn't act from knowledge of what they prevent. They act because to do otherwise is unthinkable. You don't save ships because you know the consequences. You save them because people are aboard and people deserve to survive. That's just basic decency. One of the guards, the male one, spoke for the first time. Your Radiance, the Conclave, must be informed immediately. If the Savior has been found, the Queen interrupted, then the Devourer's chains will know as well, and they will come for him. This was insane. Prophecies weren't real. Saviors weren't real. I was just a guy who was good with his hands and too stubborn to let a ship die when he could help it. But the Queen's face held no humor. Neither did the guards. And Velshara, who I'd seen negotiate with pirates and stare down customs officials without flinching, was still backed against the bulkhead, mandibles quivering. What's the Devourer's chains? I asked, though part of me didn't want to know. The reason the prophecy exists, the Queen said. 3,000 years ago, my ancestors foresaw a weapon. Not a bomb or a fleet, a concept. An ideology that would spread between species like a virus, convincing entire civilizations that consumption is purpose, that expansion is survival, that to stop growing is to die. Worlds fall to it not through conquest but through conversion. They devour their own resources, then turn to their neighbors, then to the stars themselves. The chains don't enslave bodies, they enslave minds. And what does that have to do with me? The Savior is the antithesis. She stepped closer, and I caught the scent of ozone and something sweet I couldn't name. You are the proof that service matters more than dominion. That building matters more than taking. That one person, acting without thought of glory, can hold back entropy itself. The chains cannot allow you to exist. Your very presence undermines everything they teach. I looked down at my hands again. Filthy, scarred. Shaking slightly from adrenaline and exhaustion. These were supposed to save worlds? I don't want this, I said. I know. The Queen's expression softened. The prophecy said you wouldn't.